All right, team, we're back with After Hours. We're going to have an absolute banger of a show today with all of our altcoins breaking out today. And let's just give a little golf clap to some of our altcoins like XRP, API3, HBAR, Casper breaking out. And so I love to see this. And I was telling Maddie before the show, all of that time we spent in the bear market was really for this past week. I can't tell you how many times, Maddie, I have been told by people that I need to switch my strategy. XRP's dead. Why are you investing in Casper? Why are you investing in a legacy coin like Zcash? Why buy API3 when you can buy Chainlink? I heard that for years now, ever since I graduated college. And I was a little fed up with that, but I knew we had a purpose here. And this past week was really a fulfillment of that, and we have now exited the bear market. And I just kind of want to get your reflections. What are some of your reflections from this past bear market?
Yeah, well, holy shit, first of all, Gab, you're getting old because you were still in college when we hired you. So yeah, definitely that's a big reflection. But, looking back on the bear market, it's, first of all, it was a treacherous time. The interest of participants is way down. Sentiment's down. Anytime we get a, correction in the market or even a little bit of a pump, people are not very excited about it because they just don't have a lot of hope that prices are going to move higher. There was a lot of people who completely backed out of the markets, people who walked away completely, and it was a very tough bear market, especially just with all the catalysts that we had on the way down. And then just the bear market just really seemed like it never wanted to end. The Federal Reserve was just very, restrictive with their rates, and they weren't, giving us any cuts or anything. And we kind of just got this nice turnaround now, and everything starts to make sense, right? You start to see all in the 2020 vision, everything starts to make sense. And I think that it's definitely a lot of the hard work that we've put in is going to pay off. And, we're definitely in the very, very early phases here of a lot of these breakouts. So, there's definitely lots of excitement ahead. Like Kevin Cage tweeted the other day or earlier this morning, that we're not in the euphoria stage or anywhere close to it. We're still in the, hey, this is what alt should have been doing for a hot minute now. So I'm very excited about it. Definitely a tough bear market, but, I know most of us took advantage of it, kept our head down. A lot of my team stuck to the consistent investor strategy and continue to average into certain things. And, most people are up 2, 3, 4x on a lot of their portfolios right now, just from sticking in the bear market strategy, not from being a magic day trader or Nancy Pelosi having inside information, just sticking to a very simple strategy. So I'm very grateful for the day ones that are with us, grateful for the new team members in the last year that have, hunkered down on that strategy and reaped those rewards. And I'm looking forward to a lot more bullish periods here in this market.
Team, we're going to have a banger show today. We're going to get into, finish up some of our reflections here. And then we're going to get into Brad Garlinghouse, allegedly, he didn't confirm this, meeting with Donald Trump. So we're going to talk about that and some of his, things he said on Fox Business this past November 15th about XRP and about Ripple. We're also going to discuss reasons to be bullish on Casper ever since we did that Stoyer interview, a complete 180 flip. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Cathie Wood doubling down on her Bitcoin prediction. And we are going to get into some charting at the end of the show here. Maddie's going to open up TradingView and lead the way there. So it's going to be a very entertaining show. A couple last things talking about, what we just got out of, the bear market and, with new Bitcoin all-time highs. And now we're seeing, everything that we've been waiting for with our altcoins here and the price appreciation. Because remember here, team, same for Matt here, a lot of our portfolio is invested into XRP. So especially with this big XRP move, HBAR, Zcash has, started its uptrend. Like, these are good things for our portfolio. And this last week is tremendous, like well over a 2x in my portfolio. It's crazy how fast it happened. And a couple takeaways, I think, just kind of rounding out what we just went through, because it was a long time we were in this bear market. And we did shows for you guys. You had the website, and you had After Hours at the beginning of this year, and you had the Ask Maddie show going on 2 years here. And so we've been here for a long time. And so now that we're in this completely new stage in the bull run, a couple of things that I want to tell you guys, especially for your newcomers here that, are looking at the crypto market now, looking at meme coins and looking at where you need to start your portfolio. And a good thing you need to understand is the long-term consistency that you employ is going to be crucial. Like I said at the top here, Matt, a lot of people questioned your portfolio. I had plenty that questioned mine. I was, 20, 21 years old when I started my crypto portfolio. And a lot of these people question, why aren't you buying Ethereum? Why aren't you buying Solana? And I looked at some of these other altcoins and decided to go with those that, had a good sized market cap, but on a grander scope of the other crypto assets were actually lower market caps or mid cap coins. And so I wanted to see money enter these markets so that I can see these huge price appreciations. And that is what we are seeing right now with XRP, with HBAR, and the rest of our assets that we talk about all the time. And we're only seeing this now because I did that time in the bear market, team. So listen, Matt, I was telling you before, if you want to buy Bitcoin, if you want to buy Solana, Ethereum, Render, you're too late. You're just absolutely too late. And so the good news is that there are still cryptos out there that we are going to discuss today and that we've been discussing about that are still available to you, so that if you buy them right now, and let's just say they don't see tremendous gains this bull run, and we enter into a bear market, Bitcoin enters into a bear market, you are not going to be hurt. A lot of people you listen to big boys like Michael Saylor, and I'll show you a chart later, but he's been buying at all prices, and his average was somewhere around the 2023 low, 2022 low. And that's okay for them because now he's reaping the benefits. But there's some companies out there that are throwing the kitchen sink at Bitcoin, and they're going to absolutely eat it in the bear market, right? So that example being, don't do that right now. Be strategic with your investments. When I go on TikTok right now, Matt, and I see the lives, this happened last, bull run. I'm seeing it now. I go on TikTok, these lives, talking about XRP. They have an XRP screenshot, and they're like, yeah, just dollar cost average. Yeah, I like that altcoin. I like that altcoin. Yeah, maybe just dollar cost average. Just like, where were you in the bear market? What were you doing? Were you asleep? Because we talked about XRP this whole time, Matt, and people are asleep. So what do you say to the people that are wanting to throw the kitchen sink at cryptos right now?
This is one of the biggest parts of the market that market makers actually depend on, and it's that new retail participants or returning retail participants that have FOMO or just getting involved, and they see what's happening and they think they're going to get left behind if they don't buy this exact price here. It's going to triple or quadruple without them, and they're very much after this fast money ideology, which again, we are going to be getting into these periods here where the markets are going to get exponentially more euphoric than they are now. I'm never a person that feels like I need to jump on an opportunity just because it looks good or it looks bullish. I have rules. I have things that I have to stick to in order to make sure that I don't get crushed. That does not mean that I will have zero drawdown. It doesn't mean that I'll have entries that aren't the absolute best entry, but I want to put as many probabilities that I possibly can in my favor. So what we'll talk about, especially on Technical Tune-Up Friday, when people bring all their chart requests on the show, is, okay, hey, this looks good. This is the structure we're looking at, but here's the area of interest where I would be a buyer, because here's the downside risk and here's the upside reward to the next level, right? So a lot of you guys are making decisions with no charts in front of you, no prior price action, no tools, right? And then you're kind of just feel frustrated because you're just putting up the daily chart on Coinbase and you're like, oh, why is it down 15% today? You're scrambling around for a little bit of news. Oh, why is it up 10% today? Scrambling around for news. Really, guys, especially in these periods when we're starting to get into the really big bullish breakouts, it's just going to be price action, market makers yanking price from zone to zone. So if you're able to zoom out, and again, a lot of you guys think that you are going to become day traders and get on these 10, 15-minute charts and start making decisions based on that. Zoom out. I'm talking about daily charts. I'm talking about 3-day charts. Get on weekly charts and find those areas of interest and set some limits, and then join the uptrend that's intact. That is what your new job is now, because you decided not to be, and we're talking to people who weren't part of this market before. If you were ignoring the bear market and you're jumping in now, you do not have the luxury of just DCAing everything anymore. You now have to be tactical and join in the trend that's on a higher low. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make great money, you can't be tactical, and there aren't big opportunities out there, but you have the obligation now to be as tactical as possible. So there are a handful of alts out there right now that I would still say are within my DCA tolerance, API3 being one of those right now, but a lot of my alts have broken out to a point now where the DCA just doesn't make sense. It's going to be really more limit-based ordering, or maybe even after we start to get into some bullish periods, taking my foot completely off the gas and just putting aside fiat and seeing if we get a sizable correction. Remember, you do not have to be a buyer every single day. So be patient. There's going to be lots of opportunities in this market, plenty of pullbacks. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, DCA is turned off. No more buying HBAR. Now I just have stable coins sitting in my Coinbase account. And that's fine. And that's perfectly fine because we worked up to this point right now. So if you are new, if you want to buy crypto properly and not listen to these stupid TikTok influencers that became crypto influencers overnight, you need to be a part of the best community out there, and that's the Crypto Charge community, we have a platform, cryptocharge.com, and you can sign up using code YouTube in the pinned comment down below, and you can check out our platform. We got shows every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, every single business day. We also have the tools in the community, so check us out there. We got to get into the show because we have a lot of things to talk about, starting with Trump embracing the crypto industry. Brad Garlinghouse says. So Brad Garlinghouse, which is the CEO of the company Ripple Labs, went on Fox Business on November 15th of last week and spoke about Donald J. Trump and talked a little bit about XRP. And Brad recognized that Trump had embraced the crypto industry earlier this year. You know, he said everything you needed to say to get these Bitcoiners, to get these crypto heads on board with him, right? He said anti-CBDC. I hate Elizabeth Warren. Screw Gary Gensler, you know? And, you know, when you say things like that, that really hypes up the crypto community, you know? And even though earlier this month or a couple months ago, he was like, oh, you guys really hate this Gary Gensler guy. It's like, well, duh, if you're part of the crypto community, you should understand this. Right. And so we're hearing language, we've been hearing rhetoric about, you know, Gary Gensler and the SEC and their strict enforcement actions. And now the tides have changed, and we actually saw, I think it was a week and a half ago, we saw a statement from Gary Gensler actually talking about his time at the SEC. Kind of like a finality here, like he's about to dip and leave and, you know, resign before President Trump enters office. And so that is crazy to even see or hear. So maybe we'll see that, but it was just interesting to hear that statement coming from Gary Gensler. And Brad also said, since Election Day, the best performing assets in crypto are all U.S. companies or U.S. technologies. And I had to fact check him really quick. Yes, XRP up 118%, HBAR 195. Solana doesn't really count because Solana is out of the, you know, decentralized network is out of Geneva, but was founded in San Francisco, up 50%. Maddie, do you think Brad's right about this when talking about the best performing altcoins since the elections being the ones that were created by U.S. companies or their networks are in the U.S.?
We'll see what, you know, by the end of the cycle, if that ends up being the case. You know, for the time being,
well, just since the election till now,
right? So election and now, yeah, we've definitely seen U.S. companies definitely take a big jump, or at least U.S. founded projects take a big jump in a big leader position here in the market. So again, happy to see that. One of the things that we've talked about many times is not wanting to see that innovation driven overseas, because that takes developer jobs, that takes other corporate jobs, it takes other important jobs where people maybe work in other tech or finance sectors right now, and maybe we're going to start to move into these DLT sectors. And we want to see that continue to build out here, right? We don't want to see, okay, great, you know, XRP is fantastic, HBAR, Casper, all these projects are absolutely fantastic. But are we going to continue to see that kind of innovation here in America? And the only way we're going to get that is with more regulation. So I think that that's kind of what he's been preaching this entire time. He's been very cordial with it. He's definitely been somebody who's been a big proponent of asking for clarity and regulation. So I think that's also why he's kind of tying in, you know, the performance of U.S. companies, you know, to as kind of like a showcase of like, all right, guys, like this is what we saw just in the, you know, short term from election to current. Imagine what would happen if we get regulation here in America and we can build a whole lot in America, right? And would it be 80%, 90% of the market now is U.S. based, and we start to see that performance, you know, be more U.S. oriented? Maybe that's kind of what he was, you know, alluding to between the lines.
Well, yes. And so some of these cryptos that are in Switzerland or in the Caymans, you know, these are top 50 cryptos that you can easily see on CoinMarketCap. And so when you look at especially some of these payment solutions that were created in America, it is pretty incredible, some of these blockchains and some of these assets like XRP going on a crazy run since the election. And when I was speaking with Dan Habib the other day, he was just talking about like the rhetoric that was coming out, because he looks at Bitcoin, the rest of the crypto market, and sometimes I zoom in, so sometimes I just like, okay, I need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. But the rhetoric is amazing. You know, when we talk about like preaching to the choir, like the crypto community has never been talked to like they have been by Donald Trump, by RFK, by Vivek, by, you know, these people that are supposed to be leading this way for this new administration. Elon's another one. And so when you look at the rhetoric that has been a part of this year, that has been, you know, quite a crazy thing to see to come to fruition with the election of Donald Trump, to see like a sense of relief open up, which is pretty crazy to see. Obviously, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like I'm relieved of, you know, like, oh, there we go, my crypto assets are going to be better, because we still need to see that happen. I do need to see the SEC be reformed. I do need to see Gary Gensler out of there. I need to see these things. And, you know, funny enough, Maddie, we're actually seeing one of the HBAR someone that was on the HBAR council, is actually in the running to be an SEC chairman, coming up here. So like he's in the running for it. And so it's like so crazy how now we're seeing someone who took such a big stance against crypto, even though he talked about it at MIT, and now to see someone on the HBAR council to be like, yeah, I'm going to be the next SEC chairman and we're not going to just attack crypto. It's crazy to see. A couple more things here I want to get your reaction to, Matt. Gary said, well, speaking about Gary, Brad said the pressure is off, assuming that Gensler will step down and we will no longer see attacks against crypto. So Brad Garlinghouse is saying here, like, hey, listen, with this new administration, the rhetoric has been get Gary out of there. Maddie, will getting Gary out of there really solve all the problems we're having right now?
It's going to be a good step in the right direction. Again, I want us to roll back, and for those of us who are kind of new to crypto, remember that when we saw Jay Clayton leave and drop the lawsuit on Ripple Labs on his last day in office, and then we saw Gary Gensler coming in, we were pumped, right? Like we were absolutely stoked because we were like, this guy taught crypto at MIT. This guy understands blockchain and DLT on an intimate and granular level. He is going to help the crypto industry so much, right? And then just completely turn supervillain on us, like the ultimate arch enemy. So I'm excited to see a change in leadership. What I'm hoping is that we don't just see a continuation of what we've seen previously. Now, we've seen a lot of language from the incoming administration that we want to see different things here. We also saw that Jay Clayton was reappointed by Donald Trump in a different position, right? And he said, by the way, this is a direct Donald Trump quote. He said he's done a fantastic job previously when he was head of the SEC. So one of two things is happening here, right? Either Donald sincerely does not remember that he did one of the most damaging things to the crypto industry of all time, or he's just going to pretend like it's not anything that we have to be concerned about, and we all should just be happy because he's more pro crypto than Kamala was, right? So again, my big hope is that we get somebody in the SEC chair that understands crypto and propels it forward and helps create some rulemaking, or it pushes Congress to give us with some rulemaking, right? That's my overall goal. I also, again, am just a realist and somebody who looks at things objectively. And I warned you guys, towards the end of this election season, and I was like, hey, I hope that Donald Trump does these things, but I remember how he has overtly talked against crypto before. So when we see this behavior with Jay Clayton, that is like a little bit of red flag to me. So again, not that he's going to be SEC chair again, that's a completely different position. But nonetheless, he is willing to reappoint people in office that have been damaged to the crypto industry before. So hoping that's not the case this time around.
That's stupid. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Howard Lutnick and the transition team over, under Trump there. The transition team sucks. I hate the hires right now. But, and Jay Clayton was just a cherry on top. That reaction on Twitter I saw was hilarious because it's like, what would make you believe that Jay Clayton was a good selection from, the last day in office, suing Ripple, it's just like hilarious. And so, yeah, not a big fan of those selections, but maybe it will pan out. And what I don't want to see, Maddie, is like the rhetoric picked up this year about crypto with Donald Trump. I don't want it to wane, just like everything he walked back during his, run here, where he walked back all these other stances, picked up on crypto. So what does that mean for when he gets inaugurated, right? Is Gary Gensler going to get fired? Are we going to see things actually come to fruition here? I don't know, Matt. That is yet to be seen. But I'm very excited to see what's going to be happening soon. Teams, stick around because we will cover it. I do want to get into reasons to be bullish on Casper. And if you've been around us for a while here, we've talked about Casper in very great detail here, Matt. And I think since we've seen Michael take over as CTO at Association, and since we had I think the turning point was our interview. I think our interview was the turning point for everything, because since then we have seen crazy activity coming out of the community. From a community aspect, activity's off the charts. But we're also seeing someone take over in a leadership role of the Casper community, which is something we haven't seen in a while here. And I know this is a decentralized network here, but something that, Michael said when we did our interview is yes, it's a decentralized network, but what about the community? When we were building for enterprise, we didn't care about retail. We cared about, these big companies, tools on the Casper network. And now it's okay, if we're going to take that ecosystem perspective from a community, we need to rally as a community, and that's really what he's done. And so since then, since our interview, or since the election, 260% up on Casper, which is incredible, Maddie. And there were doubters out there. We picked apart some of the people that, won't be named anymore. because, you know, they get butthurt, that we were calling out and saying, hey, bro, you're leaving the project for the wrong reason, or like, what are you doing? Like, especially like if you look at this whole year, you know, IBM announcements in January, we saw Greg Whalen, CTO at Labs. That was a big red flag for everyone. We're like, new CTO at a tech company, not that big of a change. Then we saw the network halt, June and July and August of this year. No, I'm not really going to leave a project over that. I mean, HBAR's blockchain went down in March of 2023. I didn't leave the project for that. I'm not going to leave Casper because of this. And then we got bamboozled and led astray leading up to the day before the tech exchange, or the day of the tech exchange, Myrna announcing that it's now Prove AI and we're taking our tool and we're going to Hedera. And negative sentiment pretty much the whole year. And to now see it come out the other side, Maddie, it's amazing to see. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, it's with this project that we've had, you know, first of all, Casper's a microcap, or it was a microcap at one point. We did drop below $100 million when we got this last capitulation here. People were already very frustrated about price because it kind of just been consolidating for so long. You know, we've had, first of all, from a fundamental perspective, a nice refresh, right, with Michael Stoyer leading the ship here. It's definitely been a beautiful refresh. If you guys actually kind of look at also the social media interaction of pre, you know, Casper Labs departing and, you know, now it's a lot more community oriented. There's a lot more consistency, and there's a lot more, you know, just overall just drive to get people involved in the ecosystem. So when we saw, you know, the capitulation selling, one of the things that I pointed to when we talked about it on the show was like, hey guys, by the time you guys get all undelegated and you guys, you know, decide to sell your coins here, we're going to get some sort of retrace back up to the levels before at least we capitulated down to. And that ended up being not only the case, we actually expanded well beyond those levels in less than 30 days. So I think there was definitely just a lot of emotional decision making there. A lot of people who don't understand the fundamentals of the project, which was also a big portion of why we wanted to bring Michael Stoyer on the show, was not just to, you know, make you guys feel better about your Casper investment. I think a lot of you guys didn't understand anything about the fundamentals of the blockchain that you guys were invested in as a whole. So I'm excited that we have, you know, a lot more clarity. We have strong leadership. We have some price action that's probably going to get people a lot more interested now. And I think that Casper's got a very, very bright future over these coming years.
A lot of bullishness for Casper here, especially with just like that community focused vision of the AMAs, of the DeFi calls. Like, this has been a complete and utter like flip-flop for what we've seen before, where it was like little to no communication to now like overt openness, you know, communication about what's going on in the ecosystem. So we got that new leadership. What are some other things? Oh, new partnerships, XP Network, new bridging solutions. We also have, what was the dog project, Outlaw Dogs for gaming. So it's just cool to see. And from an ecosystem perspective now, which is, you know, where Michael and the dev team, the interim board want to take this project. It's cool, number one, to stick around, but number two, it's cool to see now a vision for the Casper network, and they must hit everything on their roadmap for this to come to fruition. If we want to see, you know, someone was asking last week, Maddie, about the $2 Casper, you know, we need to see continued growth from that perspective. And yeah, new Casper Live updates. And, you know, you even saw the Ledger Live integration, so you can buy Casper directly on your Ledger app right now. So that's amazing, team. So a lot of good things coming out of Casper. And, you know, I was skeptical, you know, a lot of things was happening this year and it was negative, and it's not a place you want to be in at this point in crypto, right? You want to be investing into projects that have a lot going for it, not where it's like, you know, like, it's not like negative news, it's like neutral news. It's like new CTO, it's like, okay. And it's like network halt, and it's like, well, that's definitely not good. And then you got like, the founding company is leaving for another blockchain. It's like, well, that's a little bit skeptical there. I'm a little worried now, but good transition from that, and now seeing Michael, like, you know, power through, because he had a lead up between this transition, powering through it and leading the community, doing other interviews. It's amazing to see. So I'm very bullish on Casper, very bullish on the Casper community. It does hold a unique portion in my crypto portfolio, which is at like 200 million market cap crypto now. So very impressive, very quick turnaround. So interested to see where Casper ends up. A couple things we need to talk about here, Matt. ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood doubles down on Bitcoin, 1.5 million bull case as optimism soars. The firm's optimistic projections for 2030 here. So bigger approach here. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Remain unchanged. In our base case, this is Cathie talking, Bitcoin's value is around 650,000 for 2030. In our bull case, 1 million to 1.5 million in these forecasts were talked about early in 2023, but now she's wrapping it up since we're now seeing the official bull run. Their base case projections Bitcoin at 682,800 by 2030 based on the most likely assumptions. The bear case estimates are estimated for 258,500, while the bull case envisions Bitcoin at 1.5 million within the same year. So we're seeing Cathie Wood doubling down on her Bitcoin vision. And Maddie, so we only got a couple more bull runs. We got this bull run and another potential bull run before 2030. Can you see Bitcoin hitting 1.5 million by 2030?
What we're anticipating, I would say, growth-wise, and again, a lot of our target stuff is based on Fibonacci's. And of course, anytime we look at a Fibonacci, we still want to take that number and multiply it by circulating supply and look at the market cap and be like, is this realistic? Or do I think that this micro cap needs to reach $7 trillion to be worth this much, right? We always need to keep our expectations in check when it comes to that. One of the things that we have seen with Bitcoin growth specifically, though, is that although obviously we make a new all-time high each cycle, that new all-time high from previous all-time high actually ends up being a little bit less. So that's basically like a diminishing reward over long periods of time. Now, again, as a long-term holder, that's not something you're so much concerned with, especially if it's just part of your long-term portfolio, like you would with the Dow Jones, S&P 500, or the Nasdaq. Those are things you add to and hold long-term. At least most people don't, buy and sell and day trade those kinds of things. Reaching 1 to 1.5 million definitely is going to take a lot of volume in this market. You need the total market cap to be worth tens of trillions of dollars, most likely, in order for that to happen. Now, again, I like I've mentioned previously, we're talking about this incoming SEC administration potentially being, maybe a little bit more helpful, not attacking crypto so much, but there are things that need to get regulated out of the space, and meme coins are going to be one of them, right? So you're going to probably have a big depreciation of meme coin volume. You're going to have a regulation of the DeFi space. So, you're going to have a lot of this crap that's running on DeFi that's not going to be providing the same volume that it is now. So maybe some of that volume is transferred into more legitimate and utility-based assets. I think the absolute shocker case blow off top exceeds our expectations for the cycle that's supported by a Fibonacci is kind of around the $440,000 mark, is supported by the 8 Fibonacci extension. Now, that's not my expectation this cycle. A lot of my team is considering peeling back between 100 and 240. That's what the Fib support on a full extension up to the 4.236. But I think that $1 million would probably take more than 2 cycles. I think it's probably going to take closer to 3 to 4 cycles if it does get there. So again, guys, remember, you buy Bitcoin, 80 to 100K and it goes to $1 million, you're getting a 10X out of it, which is fine. But you're betting on such an enormous target when you have alts that, just from current market up to their gaps and their retrace levels without making all-time highs exceeded 10X so much further. And they have real utility as well, right? We're not just talking about microcaps and shitcoins. We're talking about real projects with real utility that have sizable market caps that could get to some of these prices. So I think that Cathie Wood's modeling also, and again, I don't think that Cathie Wood is a dumb woman. She's been very right about a lot of other things, including her Tesla pricing last cycle. She was nailed Tesla to the top. But I do think that a lot of her model revolves around a ridiculous amount of global GDP running on the Bitcoin network. It's not going to happen, guys. First of all, I don't know if you guys have sent Bitcoin when Bitcoin price is really, really high, right? I was sending $1,000 of Bitcoin, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago. It cost me, first of all, $22 to send $1,000 of Bitcoin. That's not helpful, right? That's ridiculous. And it took an hour and 15 minutes to get confirmed, right? And then the exchange actually took an additional 15 minutes to get its 4 confirmations. So it took me an hour and 15 to get 1 confirmation, and it took me a total of an hour and a half to get 4 confirmations. Now, again, I understand network congestion, but we can't pretend that we're going to put the entire financial system on the Bitcoin network without fixing the scalability issue, right? So I think that's one of the things that Cathie Wood puts in her modeling that supports these price targets, and we're just not there yet, right? I think that the majority of what we're going to see volume-wise, if you're going to see that running over Bitcoin, is going to be in the Lightning Network, because that's actually practical for microtransactions and day-to-day transactions. On no planet are people going to wait an hour to an hour and 15 minutes for finality, right? You're going to be standing there at the checkout counter being yeah, just wait a couple hours and then you can leave the store and you take your goods with you. It's just not practical. So, couple 100K this cycle should be really, really exciting if we get there. $1 million, 1.5, I think it's a little unrealistic for even a couple cycles from now.
I love that, Maddie. I did want to flash this really quick because this is Michael Saylor's purchasing of, at MicroStrategy. And their average is, well within the 2023 bear market. But just look at all these green purchases, all the green dots, is where he was buying Bitcoin, right? And going back to the top of the show, we're being, holding the brakes, right? Okay, you want to get into crypto. Let's learn a little bit about crypto first, and let's understand how we can buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies the right way, all right? Now, I joked a lot about this. Obviously, Michael Saylor fired his technical analyst. He's buying Bitcoin at any single price. He believes Bitcoin to become the asset of all assets, to become our, new monetary system, well around the world, for any country, for any person to get in. And so that is why he's reaping that benefits. Obviously, I would have liked to see all those purchases down in 2023 or a little bit, waiting. I know he got into Bitcoin after reading the Bitcoin Standard, and, the timing of that was like, oh, Bitcoin's great, let me buy it. Well, it's, new all-time highs. Bitcoin's expensive right now. I'm still going to buy it anyways. It's like, team, you don't have to do that. You can be strategic with your Bitcoin. We're going to see bear markets coming in the future. We're not going to get rid of the bear markets like that. We will see diminishing returns, but you will still have opportunities to buy in the bear market, just like we did this past bear market. To now, my portfolio is, 2.5x up, which is great. And so you can do that same thing too right now, but you have to be strategic. Maddie, I want you to show the team how they can be strategic. Show us a look at Bitcoin. Show us a look at the altcoins that we are reaping the rewards on now.
Yeah, sure. So let's kind of take a quick peek at the market, guys. And again, if you guys are looking for these kind of updates where you're like, I need someone to give me top-down analysis Monday through Friday, cryptocharge.com, guys. Code YouTube gets you guys 30 days free so you can check it out, plus 50% off any membership. We will be halting that special, by the way, guys, in a couple months here. So jump on that, get on that, because we're going to be resuming our regular pricing. No one writes for free in the bull market. But when we take a look here at Bitcoin, again, we've had an enormous breakout. You guys can see that we just obliterated 71, 72K. Haven't really had a big back test in there. I still think that's an area of interest. No, again, do we have to come back there right this second? No, it is an area of interest nonetheless. One of the things we looked at is the swing high, swing low in here. You guys can see that we're kind of contending just above the 1.618. We did actually reach out, nail it, pull back into it. From this particular range, we're looking around 113,000 as that next target potentially for Bitcoin. But again, when we grab the previous swing high, swing low, which is where we garner our macro targets, 101, 154, 208, 241. That's where the targets come from, right? This is where Cathie Wood's head is at for on the low end for the bear case. I think this is a realistic end of cycle target. But again, if you guys have been accumulating Bitcoin sub 30K, there's no reason for you guys not to start peeling out at 100, right? Like, let's look at other opportunities, because when you measure the rewards here, right, from 100K to 155, you're getting a 50% increase, right? Like, who gives a shit if it's 150K if you're only making 50% on the deal, right? It doesn't matter. Don't be blinded by the prices, guys. XRP obviously breaking out. Look at that. And again, I thought this was dead, Gavin. Do you remember people telling us it was dead? I sure do. They said, hey, this is a scam coin. Ripple is suppressing price. The company that wants to see this coin do well because it's the part of their tech stack apparently is suppressing price because they don't want to see XRP do well. You guys can see we've broken a multi-year, first of all, pivot zone here, but also we were really unable to gain any meaningful traction over the 73 cents level from July forward. So this was the case news. So we got the ruling in the case that XRP within itself was not a security. Big up because we had all the exchange listings here in the US. Then obviously back down because we were still in a bear market. And that's actually something I warned our team of. It says, hey, what my expectations are, if we break out in a bear market, we'll see a nice pop, but we're not going to keep running with it. If we're in a bull market, then we're going to probably pop and keep running hard. So we obviously got it in the bear market still. So, we went back down. Nonetheless, though, you guys can see that it literally just took a matter of days for us to break a multi-year level here. So we got as high as $1.24, I think was what we registered on 126 is what you're registering here on the crypto chart. So this is, 124 in some exchanges, 126. We went from 50 cents to $1.26 in literally just a matter of days here. So again, there's going to be people out there telling you got to buy XRP now because you could, get up here to 140, 170. I think XRP needs a pullback in here. We could be looking as little as 72 cents, but we could maybe see as shallow as 91 cents before a leg higher in here. But nonetheless, beautiful breakout. Everyone told me this was a stupid idea. This was dead. In fact, I know several people that just a couple weeks ago dumped their entire XRP bag to go chase some Bitcoin gains. Crazy, right? I'm not going to name any names here. Taking a look here at Casper, though, again, a lot of you guys sold the bottom here. A lot of you guys panic sold. I even on our YouTube show was like, guys, please, like this kind of selling is not going to continue. This is panic selling. The reason I knew that there was a little bit of like a time limit to it too, because there was the news that came out and there's a 14-hour undelegating period. So I knew for at least 14 hours, the majority of anyone who wasn't going to panic sell wasn't going to be able to do anything. And then there was going to be a majority of people that weren't going to wake up until the next day and even see the news. So I knew that we were going to see like 2 to 7 days of people waking up, realizing, undelegating, making decisions. Some people buying, but most people selling. I knew that was going to happen. So I told my team, hey, even if this ends up being the case, let's wait. And then when we get a retrace back up to the levels, then you guys can make the decision to unload your bag. But don't be a participant here at the lows. Thank God you guys did not dump the lows like a retail moron. So you guys can see that we've also not only came back to those levels, we just blew right past them, right? I thought we were going to really have some big trouble here right around like this 1 cent to like 1.4 cent pocket. We did take a run at it back here on November 9th. On our Twitter, I actually on this candle here said, it looks like it wants to take another run at the 1 to 1.4 cent handle. Boom, literally ran right to it and then blew right past it. So you guys can see we actually reached up perfectly to the 50-week moving average, came up to 2.7 cents. So we've actually came in retouched a very liquid pocket. Now that's going to be the big level that we need to reclaim here, right? So definitely, I'm not out here telling you guys, yeah, we're all in the clear. Everything is honky dory. We still have to reclaim 2.5. However, once 2.5 has been reclaimed, we are back in that 700-day range where we've had a lot of price action, a lot of orders, a lot of market maker participation in there. So if you guys want to be tactical, here's the gimme. I would target 1.3 to 1.4 cents to get back into Casper. So yeah, maybe some of you guys dumped and you're going to have to buy back a little bit higher than what you sold at. It is what it is. But when we look at the big grand ideology here for Casper, and even just this imbalance up here at 22 cents, and you're able to scoop up some Casper at 1.4 cents, you're looking at like a 15x opportunity. Isn't that crazy? So hypothetically, from current market, you would have to see over a 10x on Bitcoin, right? In order to even come close to this return, just up to that 22 cent mark, right? And then I do think that, once we're back up in this pocket that, you're going to get a lot of excitement. I think, $1.36 is very reasonable. We do have on this particular crypto chart, 194 through $7 supported here. I don't expect that by this cycle, right? There's going to be moon boys, especially once we're up here at like 70 cents a dollar or so. And I think that's kind of where we're going to probably start to see some big selling and distribution come in. That's when people are going to be like, oh, it's going to 6, 7, 8, or 9, right? And they're going to tell you to get in. Let them be the exit liquidity. Don't be the exit liquidity for them. But this is a great sign for Casper. Everything I needed to see has happened for Casper over the coming days, right? At least the reclaiming of key levels here. So as we come in for this back test here, that's the time to not be afraid. That's the time to be grateful. That's the time to either add to your bag or jump on a position if you decided to sell, or if you're just here new with us, you missed all the bloodbath and you want to get involved. 1.4 cents is a really, really good place to get involved. We're gonna take a look at one more chart here. Going to just speed through a couple more actually, just because I'm really excited about the way the charts looks. Algorand also had just an enormous break here. I told you guys I was DCing into Algo, clean break on Algo, break over the 50-week there. Zcash also looking good here. You guys can see that we're making some meaningful moves. This bottom in here, we bought the hell out of this bottom at Crypto Charge. This is the round of bottom that was coming in here. Some multi-year lows. Like, guys, please, this is the no-brainer. Just do this, right? And if you do this, then you can be very flexible up here. So I think Zcash is maybe a little on the pricey side, but it's, further back from its breakout. And then HBAR also. HBAR is up 35% today. Yeah. So you guys can see that HBAR is actually back up here at the April highs from 2024. So this is the Coinbase chart. So it only goes back to 2022 here. But nonetheless, you guys have seen from the low here, 4.2 cents, push up to 15 cents. So from November 7, it did a 262% move. HBAR was part of my DCA there. I told our team basically too, hey, sub 7 cents for basically over a year. Sub 7 cents, just buy it, right? Like it's easy money. So, there's definitely be corrections. There's definitely going to be lots of other breakouts for alts that are in our portfolios that really haven't seen this caliber of breakout yet. And I just want you to remind you guys that what we're thinking about with dominance is very important to this entire puzzle, right? We've barely seen any sheds in dominance, like very tiny pullbacks in dominance. And we're seeing this caliber of breakout. XRP at over $1, HBAR breaking 16 cents, Casper getting 60%, 80% back-to-back days. That behavior is all happening on the coattails of very small drops in dominance. Can you guys even fathom what the altcoin market's going to look like when we get a true capitulation in Bitcoin dominance like we saw in the past two previous cycles? This is the most optimism I've had in the market in a very long time because of the timing of Bitcoin dominance. Now, if Bitcoin dominance was just cascading like crazy right now, and we had this exact caliber of breakout, I'd be like, this is good, but my expectations for this market cycle might be a little bit shorter. I don't feel that way because of the way that dominance is behaving right now. So bring it on, baby. Maybe we even have a little bit higher to go in dominance. Keep giving us those little pullbacks and then give us the absolute waterfall. I think XRP 20 plus is very realistic for some blow off top end of cycle here. I think Casper at $1 or more based on this behavior is very realistic here. And I think a lot of alts are going to surprise people because they forgot about them. They walked away and they're going to come back and buy the top of the market. And I'm happy to sell my coins at a ridiculous price.
I love that, Maddie. Yeah, people look at like Casper and they forget about other altcoins that have gone through the same thing, whether it's like, no narratives really driving or like lack of price action like Algorand and, I mean, you just cannot give up on a project due to its price, because then you see days and weeks like what we just saw, and the price turnaround is crazy. And so, and also too, even if you saw a 500K Bitcoin, you're not getting those types of returns on Casper. And that's not saying to buy Casper, but what that is saying is maybe add a portion of your portfolio to these smaller market cap cryptos. Just one. I have one, and it's Casper. I do have some other ones like HBAR and like API 3, but they're not quite like Casper. Casper is very unique. Casper, over this past year, Casper has come quite unique. So, but it holds a particular position in my portfolio. It's not a meme coin, and it has its utility. And so that's what we're trying to see here, team. We got through a lot of things today, a little bit of a longer show. You're welcome. So, team, if you got something valuable here, make sure you leave a like. And for you newcomers, hey, crypto is going to make me a wealthy man. I know right now, if I was to take out all my crypto money, I'm in the top, like, 1% of 23-year-olds, right? That's pretty cool. But it doesn't stop right here, okay? We still have to be strategic with our investment dollars, right? The last thing we want to do is start throwing the kitchen sink, and then we see a bear market, and then we're sitting underwater for a long time, right? Your wife's not going to like, your wife already doesn't like you. She's not going to like you when you chuck the chickens, your whole savings at Bitcoin. And it's like, 2 years, it's like, yeah, honey, it's going to come back, and she's going to leave your ass. So don't do that. Be strategic. Use code YouTube at CryptoCharge. Maddie, anything to leave the team with here?
Like I said, guys, we've got a lot of excitement ahead of us. It's not something you have to rush into. I'm going to beg you guys to get a trading journal. I know most of you guys are not going to do it, but I do have a few team members that have diligently used their trading journal, and they are more successful. They feel more at peace with their investments, and they have something to look back on, right? They are actually, a lot of people are able to reflect on what they were thinking in the bear market compared to now. And there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of, wanting to walk away, but just, materializing that on paper or in your digital notebook or whatever can really help with a lot of those feelings and thoughts. So same thing here in the bull market, though. We need to be able to quantify our feelings. So if we're just euphoric and we're like, oh, I think I should just keep buying more and keep buying more, and we're writing that down, but we are doing the opposite, right? But just writing it down a lot of times can help kind of, alleviate that itch to just jump in and pour additional money in it and take bad entries. So my advice to you guys is to learn a little bit about the charts, which we have a lot of information on our websites to do that. Stay in tune with the market for the next, year and a half or so. It's definitely going to be worth your time to start making this, part of your day. Give up some of your Netflix time, give up some of your drinking at the bar time, spend a little bit of that time on the charts, because I promise you, you have these short windows when it comes to the bull run, 12, 18 months, right? Whatever ends up being. And then you go back into the bear market. So don't waste this opportunity, right? Utilize this opportunity. And then when we get back into the bear market, change your strategy up a little bit. But you guys have an opportunity to make a lot of money right now over these next 12 to 18 months if you guys lock in. So make the choice, lock in or sit out.
Leave your childish ways for the children. Buy XRP so your wife will like you. Team, we talked about a lot of good things today. Just a little bit about the reflections of the bear market, things that you need to know if you're kind of a newcomer. Brad Garlinghouse. I love when Brad Garlinghouse talks. We got to cover that. And then some reasons to actually be bullish, from new perspective. Ever since that Stoyer interview till now, going forward, hey, it's a new outlook for Casper here, and I'm very excited to see everything come to fruition here. And, for Casper holders to really reap the reward there, because they've been through a lot this year, and I don't want to see any more suffering, all right? Roadmap, we're hitting everything on that. DeFi coming to the Casper network. Very excited for that. And you got a little look at the charts today. So, team, be strategic. You can only do that with CryptoCharge. Don't listen to these stupid idiots on TikTok. I can't believe I watched more than 30 seconds of those live streams. It is so crazy how these guys come out of the woodworks to throw up a screenshot and start talking about XRP and don't know nothing about 2021. Don't know nothing about SEC v Ripple. Don't know who the CEO of Ripple Labs is or why Ripple is selling XRP every single month. It is stupid. So, team, we'll bring it to you, of course, and we will see you this Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific for the Ask Maddie show. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. Make sure they're good. If they're not good, I'm going to dislike your comment. But, team, we will see you guys Wednesday. Bye.